for those of you guys who are watching this, what we're doing on Sean right now is what's called a VNG. It stands for video nystagmography, and allows us to measure his eye movements under different types of conditions. The reason that we do this is that the neurology, the pathways that make your eyes move are very well researched. They're very well related to different areas of the brain, so we can see how those areas are working based upon what we see with these eye movements and changes. So this is kind of his second round, so we want to see whether he's improved in the areas that he's improved in. Basically, the things that we look for is the alignment of the eyes to see whether the eye is centered in the globe. And with yours, it's pretty well centered. You get a couple of these little flat spots here, and again, we call those clock hour defects. They're classically seen with people that have had a concussion or something along those lines. But from a clinical standpoint, it just tells us that somewhere in your life you smacked your head, and basically as a result, it's kind of damaged some of the nerves that go to this pupil. Then we looked at this eye here. Alignment's pretty good. This eye is a little bit further down in the globe, as you can see by marking where the 4 lights are on the camera. Now if we look at it today, this is your left eye. Pretty well centered. It's nice. Okay. And if we look at the right eye, you know, pretty well centered. Okay. And you're always going to get a little variation in there. What we don't want to see is these eyes being converged a lot. We don't have that. And that was never an issue with you. Sometimes you'll see that in people, but you are in good shape there. This was your left pupil response. And what we measure here is how much the actual pupil constricts, and whether the constriction causes the eye to move inwards, which we don't like to see. And you'll see that classically in people who've had a little bit of a concussion. What that indicates is there's a certain part of the brain that's a little bit wound up more than it should be. It'll give you a little bit more anxiousness, that feeling of anxiety, which is something that you were experiencing, and now you don't seem to experience it that much. So let's compare to see how it's changed. So that was that response. This is your, find it. This is your right pupil response. And again, fairly strong. Okay. Let's look and see how it's changed. This is the right one. Okay. Pretty good. What I'm more concerned to see is on that left side, to see how much it converges or it doesn't converge. And again, you see the convergence of it, which is something we don't like to see. Okay. Now when we look at it, much better. See, it doesn't come in as much.
Yeah.
When you shine light on. Now, even though that might not seem like a lot, okay, but that little give on that convergence of that eye just tells us that that midbrain in that area is just calmed down a little bit. And it's more than likely what's helped you with your anxiety, because it's that area of the brain that causes you to feel anxious. You know, so these are like little subtleties. You know, you see a little change here, but sometimes it can make a big change in how you feel.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's look at your fast eye movements. This is looking at one spot to the other. This was when you first came in here. And for the most part, you were good. You end accurately. A little bit of slip there, a little slip there. So let's see how they are now. So see how you end more accurately?
Yeah, I was gonna say it just looks much more stable.
Like every time you look, let's look at that again because that's critical. So this was you when you first came in here. So you're looking right, left. See the jump? Jump, jump, jump again, jump again. So every time that you were looking at a target, you miscalculated where your eye was in relationship to the target, so that you'd have to make an extra correction. Now that's an issue because if you're doing this all day long, you're almost doubling, tripling the amount of these fast eye movements that you create. The problem with that is that every time you look quickly from one spot to the other, you're technically blind. So what this ends up giving people, it gives you that little sense of not being 100% grounded and stable. You're just a little bit off. Okay, you don't know why, okay, but it's more likely due to this. So now when we look at you, you see when you first start off, good, little jump there, solid, 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 solid. Oh, so that's a huge difference. Let's look at this one. This is your ability to keep your eyes still on a target. Okay, so you're looking at something. You can kind of see those little jumps in there. See those?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's look at it today. And now you're looking again. There you go. You got little jumps in the beginning, but then that's it. Now having your pupil do that in and out is normal, so you're not going to worry too much about that. But just in looking at his eye, it's significantly more stable. Okay. Now, where this comes into play for you, it's linked with this other reflex, which is basically when you turn and you're fixing on something. So this was you back in February when you first came in. You can see how your eyes are jumpy. Now for you, in the sport that you're in, that is not good, because you rely on that stability when you turn and you're throwing. So when your eyes are doing this, it just tells you that your cerebellum isn't calibrating at the level it should be. So it's going to make you feel just a little bit off or a little bit unstable.
Yeah.
Okay, so you hold back a little bit. Okay. All right. Now when we look at you today, goes, and you always know when he's looking because his pupil constricts. And now we turn him, a little movement there, but for the most part you're a lot improved. You don't nearly get as much movement. So, another thing that's important here, that these are reflexes. So this is unconscious for you. So, and when you're throwing, when you're spinning, a lot of it's unconscious. Okay. So when this reflex is working better, you're just going to be more stable on that. So you did a good job, man. Good job. Yeah. So, and I think that's translating to why you're throwing better and you just feel better.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so if you guys are in
the Minnesota area, this is where you need to be. Minnesota Concussion Chiropractic Art.
Yeah.
Athlete, general population, doesn't matter. They can make your injuries better. They can take your performance to the next level, whatever it might be. Yeah, I will link their website below in the description, so be sure to stop by there and check them out. If you guys have any questions for Dr. Klotzik or Dr. Stussy, drop them in the comments below, and maybe we can do another video sometime.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right,
Cool.
thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it.